Alright, for lesson 29 today we're going to be working on a new method of solving equations called substitution. So today you'll be able to create a system from a word problem and then use substitution to solve. You'll know you're successful when you can use knowledge about substitution and solve a system that applies to real life. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and get into this because it is a half day and I want to make sure we have enough time to get all this done. Alright, so for example 1, I'm going to show you exactly what, for our background knowledge, I'm going to show you what substitution is. And what this basically means is that if we have an equation that says y equals 2x minus 2, and we want to solve this without doing elimination, without graphing, we can do it pretty simply. And we can do it by taking that value, 2x minus 2, and putting it in place of the y for the second equation. Because if y equals 2x minus 2, then I can just turn that other y into 2x minus 2. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to rewrite it with y being that 2x minus 2. So this becomes 2 times 2x minus 2 equals 4x minus 4. Now we have this very long linear equation, but again, I just took that y and I changed it to what y actually equals. Okay? From there, we're just going to solve it like normal by doing our order of operations. First thing is parentheses, so I'm going to distribute this too. This becomes 4x minus 4 equals 4x minus 4. What do you notice so far about this? It's the exact same. If we were to try to isolate our variables, add 4 to both sides, we would see that we're going to get an answer that has infinite solutions. 4x is always going to equal 4x. So this is infinite solutions. We actually did this question yesterday, but it took a lot longer because we did not use substitution. We used elimination. But today we're going to be using this strategy called substitution. We just substitute what our variable equals for the variable in the other equation. Okay, we're going to get into it right now. Alright, because this is a word problem, we're going to go ahead and do our close reading. It says the sum of two numbers is 361, and the difference between two numbers is 173. What are the two numbers? I went ahead and read from my big idea. Now I'm going to be doing some annotation. So the sum means I'm adding of two numbers. So I'm adding two things. Blank plus blank is or equals 361. Okay? And the difference, so if we were to subtract these two numbers between the two numbers, so if I went something minus something is equals 173. What are the two numbers? So I'm trying to figure out what these two numbers are. Read for my second time, did some annotation. Now this third time I read, I'm actually going to try to define my variables here. So the sum of two numbers, I'm adding two numbers together, and it equals 361. I don't know what those numbers are. I got to use a variable. So I'm just going to use x and y. All right. And the difference of those same two numbers, same two variables, x and y, is 173. What are the two numbers? So I have read for my my third time, and I'm going to start this. So my two equations are x plus y equals 361, and the second equation is x minus y equals 173. I could stack these and do elimination, but this lesson is about substitution, so I'm going to teach you how to do that here. So I need one of these equations to say either x equals blank or y equals blank. It doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm just going to do x equals. So I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to move some things around so that the x is by itself. So if I want the x by itself over here, I'm just going to subtract y from both sides. And now the y's cancel. I'm left with x equals 361, take away y. So now that I know what x equals, that equals 361 minus y, I can change this x right here to 361 minus y. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. This becomes 361 minus y, parentheses, so I just changed this part, and I have to keep everything else the same, minus y equals 173. All right, and from there I'm just going to solve algebraically. So first thing I want to do is get rid of all my minus signs, so this becomes 361 plus negative y equals 173. I'm going to combine my like terms. 2 negative y's is 2 negative y. So 361 plus negative 2y equals 173. I'm going to move this 2y to the other side. So the opposite of plus negative 2y is plus positive 2y. Over here it cancels. I'm left with 361 equals 173 plus 2y. And I want to get this 173 over to the other side. And when I do that, I get the answer of 188 equals 2y. I divide both sides by 2, and I get y equals, oops, wrong side. I get y equals 94. Okay, so I found what my y number is, and it's going to be really easy for me to find my x because I can just plug it into either equation that I started with. So if y equals 94, I'm just going to use this equation right here that I started with, x plus y equals 361. So x plus y equals 361. I now know that y is 94, so x plus 94 equals 361. And if I'm trying to solve for x, I just got to take 94 away from both sides. So 361 minus 94 in my calculator comes out to be 267. Okay, so I have my x and my y. I could quickly check this if I wanted to. If I add these both up, do they equal 361? They do. Checked in my calculator. If I do 267 minus 94, does it equal 173? It does. So this is my correct answer here. And that's how you use substitution to do it. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. All right, beginning with my close reading, my first read. There are 356 eighth grade students at Elucids Middle School. 34 more than 4 times the number of girls is equal to half the number of boys. How many boys are in 8th grade at Elucids Middle School? How many girls? I read for the big idea. All right, so there are 356 8th grade students. This is my total, right? Boys and girls. 34 more, so adding 34 more than, I'm adding this to 4 times the number of girls. It doesn't tell me the number of girls, so I'm just going to put G. So if I had 4 times G and then I add 34, that is equal to, pretty wordy here, half the number of boys. So half of the boys. How many boys are in 8th grade? How many girls? So I'm looking for the number of boys and the number of girls. Okay, just close read for my second time. And the third time I'm going to start writing some stuff out. So it says, there are 356 8th grade students at Elucids Middle School. So if I take the number of boys plus the number of girls, it equals 356. Okay? 34 more than 4 times the number of girls. So if I did 34 more than 4 times the number of girls is equal to half the number of boys. So that's my second equation. How many boys are in 8th grade at Elucids Middle School? how many girls. Read for my third time. And now I'm going to get started solving this system of equations. Okay? And I'm going to use substitution to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this equation right here at the top so that it says b equals something or g equals something. So I want that b to be by itself. So right now it says b plus g equals 356. If I want that b by itself, I just got to take away the g from both sides. And I get that the number of boys equals 356 minus the number of girls. Okay? So now I'm going to plug this newfound knowledge that b equals this into my second equation. And from there, I'll be able to solve. So here we go. 34 plus 4 times the number of girls equals 1/2 times b. And now we know that b is 356 minus g. All right, from there, we're just going to solve algebraically. First thing we do is our parentheses. So we're going to do 1/2 times 356. I'm saying 356 divided by 2. And I get 178. And then 1/2 times g is this 1/2 g. You could turn it to 0.52 if you want. Everything else stayed the same. All right. I'm going to add my half g to this side so that it combines with this 4 g's over here. This is 4.5 g's. I keep everything else the same. Over here it cancels, I'm left with 178. Still trying to get that g by itself, so I'm going to take away this 34 from both sides. 178 minus 34, my calculator, is 144. Over here it cancels. So 4.5 g's equals 144. I'm going to divide both sides by 4.5. And I end up getting that the number of girls equals 32. So there's 32 girls at Ulysses Middle School. Now I need to find the boys. So I'm going to plug this new knowledge that the girls is 32 into this equation right here. Boys plus girls equals 32. So boys plus girls equals 32. I'm just going to substitute what I now know. So, sorry, boys plus girls equals not 32, 356. And if the girls is 32, I'm going to change that g to a 32. And now I can solve for b. All I have to do is subtract 32 from both sides to get b by itself. Okay? There are 324 boys at this school. And we can check this if we need to. But I'm not going to check it. I'm just going to make sure that I have this written out. 32 girls, 324 boys. And that's my answer here through substitution. All right, I did want to give you guys another example, but just for the sake of time for this half day, I didn't. So our new learning today is that we can write a system of equations by a strategy called close reading. And we can now solve a system of equations with a new strategy called substitution. And we use substitution by finding what one of our variables equals. So in this case, this y equals 2x minus 2. And we would just take that and plug it in for that second equation to solve algebraically. So that is what substitution is. You literally just substitute what something equals for the variable that it represents. Okay, moving on to our exercises. All right, for exercise 1, it says a farm raises cows and chickens. The farmer has a total of 42 animals. One day he counts all the legs of his animals and realizes that he has a total of 114. How many cows does the farmer have? And how many chickens? Read for the first time. First thing we want to do is identify our variables. Let's just call our cows x and our chickens y. Okay. The farmer has a total of 42 animals. So the x plus the y, the cows plus the chickens, equals 42. One day he counts the legs of all of his animals and realizes he has a total of 114. Well, let's think about cows and chickens. Cows have 4 legs each, and chickens have 2 legs each. And together, all those legs equal 114. How many cows does the farmer have, and how many chickens? Mark our second box, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to solve. So from here, a farm has cows and chickens. There's a total of 42 animals, so the cows plus the chickens equals 42. One day he counts the legs, realizes that he has a total of 114. Each cow had 4 legs. Each chicken had 2 legs. Together there's 114 legs. So we now have our system written out. What you're going to do on your own right now is you are going to use substitution, to find your answer. So what I want you to do is rewrite this top equation so that it either says x or y equals. So off to the side, I want you to rewrite this equation. Get your x or your y by itself. Take about 10 seconds to do it. It's very simple. All right, easiest thing I wanted to do was just get my x by itself, so I take that y away. Take the y away. Over here it cancels. I'm left with x equals 42 minus y. From there, you're going to take that answer of what x equals 42 minus y, and you're going to put it into this equation right here. Okay? Let's go ahead and solve this mathematically. 4 times x, which is now 42 minus y, plus 2y equals 114. Take a second to solve this equation. All right. Please check your work with my work. I've gone ahead and solved this. You can look at the process if you didn't get the right answer. Maybe watch the video again and see what step you went wrong on. But I got y equals 27. So I'm now going to take that answer. I'm going to plug it into this first equation for y. So my first equation said x plus y equals 42. I now know that y is a 27. So x plus 27 equals 42. I want to get the x by itself, so I'll take 27 away from both sides. And I get x equals 42 take away 27. And my calculator is 15. So I got that x is 15 and that y is 27. I could really easily check this by adding them up. Do they add up to equal 42? Yep. And then I could apply it to my second equation as well to find that out. But I'm just going to go ahead and write my answer. I remember that x was cows. So there are 15 cows. And y was chickens, 27 chickens on this man's farm. All right, moving on to exercise number 2. All right, for exercise number 2, I want you to go ahead and close read this on your own, and I want you to set up your own system of equations. We'll go over this pretty quickly. You don't need to solve yet. I just want to make sure you can set this up, okay? All right, check your equation or your system of equations with mine. So it said the length is 4 times the width. So that's why I wrote this equation up top. The length is 4 times the width. And then it says the perimeter is 45 inches. So perimeter is length plus the width is 45. So those are my 2 equations. I'm now going to use substitution to solve. And it already tells me what L equals. L equals W times 4. So I'm going to change these L's to W times 4. And we're going to solve that. So this becomes W times 4, or you could call it 4W. Plus W times 4 plus W equals 45. Again, I just substituted these 2 L's for what L actually equals. Okay? And we're going to solve it in just a second. But one thing I do want to tell you is that this just means 4W plus 4W plus 1W plus 1W equals 45. So we just can combine all of those terms. If I have 4W's plus 4 W's plus 1 W plus 1 W. That is 10 W's. Okay, take a second to get W by itself. Tell me what W equals when you divide by that coefficient. What does W equal? Message me in the chat real quick. All right, you should have got 4.5 for W. Okay, so now we're going to take this answer of what W equals, 4.5, and we're going to plug it into our equation up top. Our length is just whatever our width was times 4. So our length is W times 4. In this case, our length is 4.5 times 4. And we'll do that really quickly in our calculator. 4.5 times 4 is 18. So we got our length and our width. Last thing that this question asks us is, what is the area? So area of a rectangle is just length times width. So we're just going to be doing our length, 18 times 4.5. The area of this rectangle is 81 square inches. Okay, we found our width, found our length, and we multiply them to get the area. We're going to move on to our exit ticket now. All right, for your exit ticket, you get points for doing your close reading, setting up your system of equations correctly, and then answering the question correctly. So two numbers have a sum of 1,212 and a difference of 518. What are the numbers? If you get confused, please reference example number 1. It's exactly like this, okay? So that's what you need to do this. All right, good luck. This is your exit ticket. This is what you're graded on for today.